So welcome everyone to Workforce Wednesday. Today our topic is Student Success Initiatives to Increase Persistence. And our presenter is Elizabeth Elizondo, and she's an educational specialist with Education Service Center Region 20, the Alamo Consortium. And today is November 6th, and my name is Olga Escamilla, and I'm going to be your host and moderator. So what I'd like to do at this time is welcome our presenter, Elizabeth Elizondo. She is currently, again, an educational specialist for Education Service Center Region 20, the AEL Consortium. She has 2 years of experience as an Alamo College's student development instructor, 3+ years experience as a career navigator, and her primary focus is college and career navigator and instructional coach support. And Elizabeth holds a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science from UTSA. So welcome, Elizabeth.
All right, thank you, Olga, and thank you everyone for attending this session. I appreciate your time. I am going to go over student success initiatives to increase student persistence, and it's quite a condensed amount of material, so I'll be going through this. Please feel free to ask your questions. If there is something I don't know, I will get that answer for you at the end of the session, or I can email you that information. So I will go ahead and get started. A little history about our consortium. We are located on the east side of town in San Antonio, Texas. ESC 20 is the lead organization for the Adult Education and Literacy Alamo Consortium. We are a TWC grant recipient, and we subcontract with 8 service providers, 4 school districts, 2 community college affiliates, 2 local nonprofits. Their logos are shown at the bottom of this slide. Our consortium role consists of compliance, support, including special projects and budgeting, community awareness, professional development, and standardization. In total, we serve 13 counties in the surrounding area, and we have over 6,000 AEL students each year. A little background history on student success initiatives. In February 2017, a small group of navigators within the AEL Alamo Consortium began to meet in hopes of identifying opportunities to improve students' experience and long-term success. These initiatives, in turn, would encourage our AEL students to improve their lives, lives of their families, and their communities. The primary focus for SSIs is to focus on developing college transitions, with capital T, career and workplace readiness programming, implementing services that improve retention and completion rates, and improving student success after exit. The Alamo Consortium adopted the following consortium-wide initiatives across our 8 service providers: student IDs, certifications, student associations, and externships. And as we move through the presentations, we'll go down each of these 4 categories that fall under the SSI umbrella. In order for our students to recognize the consortium terminology, we created a draft of our first SSI flyer that includes the what, why, how, and where. We wanted our students to recognize SSIs as the umbrella term for various types of student events they could participate in. Student associations include TALE, National Adult Education Honor Society. Certificate attainment is affiliated with North Star Digital Literacy and Skills to Succeed Academy. Volunteering opportunities can be either through a school event, library, or employer. Externship events include college, university, or employer tours, and some of those including hands-on activities. And finally, student IDs. Challenges noticed in the development of this flyer is that it appears a bit wordy for some of our students, and it may target only one group, HSE students, because there are less visuals. A future goal is to change up the flyer to target our ESL audience as well, to incorporate a visual description of the SSIs. Now that you are knowledgeable of what SSIs are, why do you think student success initiatives are value added? And here, I would appreciate your input as how these SSIs are value added to either a student, teacher, or leadership, or all.
Joseph says all who participate accordingly, and Mauro says they assist students and teachers on goals each would like to complete. Well, very good.
It's exactly that. Those who participate are going to reach these small wins, these attainable goals. And instead of waiting for a prize at the end, we keep our students involved, included, and updated on various opportunities under the SSI umbrella. So this gives our students a chance to keep them in, it gives our program and our staff to keep the students engaged in their journey from beginning to end. So reflecting back on this initial slide of the Student Success Initiatives adopted by our consortium, we'll first look at the Student Success Initiative of Student IDs. Student IDs, when not directly connected to a college campus. So there are some AEL programs that I'm aware of that issue a student IDs to their AEL student. And although that is a wonderful benefit, if you have that, there are programs such as some of ours that don't have that accessibility. So the purpose of this was to standardize implementation and integration of student IDs across our consortium, all 8 of our providers, to ensure maximum benefits for students in programs. One idea to improve retention rate was to mirror student benefits that school districts have, which establishes a sense of formalization, unity, and student benefits. To do this, student IDs were created across the consortium by purchasing our own ID printer and integrating the same template across the 8 service providers that didn't have one associated through a college. A challenge is that not all vendors that offer student ID benefits as well as transportation providers recognize AEL student IDs as is. Adding a sticker to the back of the ID that indicates the active school year has been helpful in that challenge, but we still are continuing with the challenge of transportation, specifically with our city transportation system, and that is a goal that I'm working on this year. Here is a little bit of student ID information. The ID provider that we go through, that we purchased, was through AlphaCard. The materials that we needed was the card printer, the blank cards, the ribbon, the stickers that we replace each year, and I have included their phone number and their website if that's something you might be interested in. And again, if you have other questions, I'd be happy to get that additional information for you. In what ways can you see student IDs benefiting the students in your AEL program? So I suppose this question, it's open to all. However, some of the programs that do have that association with the student IDs in colleges definitely can see those benefits where they can use the school library and maybe open to school events. But then there are those AEL programs that don't have that benefit. So in what ways can you see student IDs benefiting the students in your AEL program?
Kelly says it gives them a sense of belonging as a college student. And Mauro says it may assist students have a sense of belonging with the AEL program and students. Yes, I agree.
Yes, definitely. We did have feedback after the first rollout of the student IDs, and we've got students proud to show their student ID. They most wear them daily around the campus, and it also offers that sense of security because not all of our locations are all centered at one place. They are broken apart, and it's nice to know that when you're walking through the hall that you're walking amongst your fellow peers, and it also offers that sense of security, among others.
Kimberly says, just a note, the stickers are ordered through an external vendor, not AlphaCard, maybe from Avery?
Oh, yes. Yes, Kim, thank you for that. And that is true. It's not through the vendor.
So they're very inexpensive and reduce printing new cards every year. So do you provide these materials, that set of materials that you listed, for every program in the consortium?
Yes. So our consortium, within the grant management team, we have these funds aside to be able to provide these additional materials to the 8 service providers. So I am the point of contact for our providers. So if they need an additional bundle of cards, they can reach out to me to get those ordered for them. And most of the time, many of our students that are returning students, they don't get new IDs. The bulk of new template cards they need is for those newly enrolling students.
So when you talk about a sticker, that sticker is per semester?
Yeah, for every program year. So right now we just issued out the 1920 stickers to be placed on the back of the student ID card.
Oh, okay. Very good. And Joseph says, good to keep your software updated.
Yes, so we do have to go through it. Each of the service providers have had a person on staff that was trained for the software. And so there is certain limitations, like how many times you can have it on a computer or remove it onto another computer because you're reusing the amount of licenses provided for each group. So within that, we have that designated person, and normally that one person will teach a few others just so it's not all with that one person. But we do update the software as needed when it calls for it through the program itself. Yes. Charmaine, Charmaine, I'm sorry, I apologize if I say your name wrong. There is a waiting period for the new students to receive an ID. All of our students are required to meet 12 hours before receiving their ID. Moving forward, our next Student Success Initiative adopted is certifications, and we offer a few of those. First, we will talk about North Star Digital Literacy Assessment. The North Star Digital Literacy is a program of the Minnesota Literacy Council. It supports job seekers to learn or certify their digital literacy skills needed to seek, obtain, and retain employment. North Star assessments are used by over 780 adult basic education programs, colleges, nonprofits, workforce centers, government agencies, and businesses. North Star allows end users to freely take the assessments from anywhere via their homepage. There is no cost to complete the assessments on the North Star's homepage. Individuals can go to an improved testing location and obtain the North Star Digital Literacy Certificate when they pass the assessments. Assessments are provided in an interactive module type of delivery. Retakes are not allowed during the same proctored session. Each test must be passed with an 85 or better to receive a certificate. Certificates provide an important credential for employment, as even entry-level jobs increasingly require basic computer literacy skills. Benefits of becoming a testing location include awarding badges and certificates, job readiness assessments, and distance learning pre-assessments. These assessments can provide detailed user reports about end user activity. The cap is 3,500 assessments per paid year. Additional tests are charged at $30 per 1,000 assessments. At the bottom of the screen, you will notice an example of the digital badges awarded as well as an example certificate. These certificates can include more than one passing test listed on the certificate. Our navigators have used these certificates to bulk up student resumes, and the digital badges have been added to web-based student portfolios. Our consortium has used North Star Digital Literacy for job readiness activities or as a pre-assessment to future distance learning users. If students If they do not pass basic computer literacy, the skills assessment, the provider may choose to provide additional instruction for basic computer skills usage. And just to add, North Star Digital Literacy, as of this year, has started incorporating curriculum into their website, whereas before it was assessments only. As a testing location, we are able to receive detailed user reports. In this slide, we can see here that the red bars that indicate did not pass are greater in the areas of career search skills, information literacy, internet basics, Mac operating system, and Microsoft PowerPoint. This information not only provides area of opportunity for training for our students, but assists in prioritizing training needs. From this graph, we can also see that Microsoft Excel, Word, and email assessments have a greater passing rate and could be considered lower priority than other assessments for this group of students. Now it's your turn. In what ways can you envision North Star Digital Literacy being used for your program?
Or do you already use North Star Digital Literacy? Kelly says, is that a total of 1,200 for all 8 sites or 1,200 per site?
For all 8 sites.
And you said there's a maximum number of tests that they can take that you could take as a consortium?
3,500. And we haven't come close to that. But yes, it's 3,500.
So does anybody already use North Star Digital Literacy? So Liz, you mentioned that you could use that people that take this, they could take the assessments, they get little badges, and they can put them on their electronic portfolio, or do they put this information on their resume, or are we getting to that?
We'll be getting to that, yes. So at the end of the presentation, I have an example resume of how they can note their certificates. But yes, they have in the past put their digital badges onto a digital portfolio.
And Mauro says it has a definite structure that allows for curriculum planning, and the cost is effective. And he doesn't use it, but he will look into it. Thank you, Mauro.
Thank you, Mauro. Another add-on to that is we were just notified through North Star Digital Literacy as a testing provider that they are looking to possibly get approved as a, Kim, help me out if I'm going to word this wrong, but it is a, not proctored hours, but proxy hours for students because it has some approved DL software. Thank you. And so they are attempting in that effort, and we are going to see if we can help make that bridge if they need to with TWC, or they do need to with TWC. So that is something that's in the works that may be coming down the pipeline. Kim says not yet, but they're setting up a time clock system, so fingers crossed. So that would be really awesome if that comes out later on. We're very happy that they went from assessments and now started including curriculum because some of the navigators have had to venture out and find curriculum to align with the North Star tests, but now they have started adding in their own curriculum. Oh, yeah, Kelly, it really does have a positive effect on our students. It's a student can walk in, to the computer lab that day, and within 15, 20 minutes of taking the assessment, they can walk out with a certificate and have another credential to add onto their resume. It really helps as a resume builder, and again, those short wins for the students. Oh, okay, yes. So I just want to read out loud Kelly's comment. It was that I was referring to. She says, I was looking at the website and I can see this could be a good source for digital literacy. I like that it has certificates. All right, if we have no other questions, I'll go ahead and move on. So the next certification we offer as a Student Success Initiative, we offer our students CPR classes. These free 2-hour CPR classes were discovered by an online search. Local ER clinics offer this training to the community as an advertisement to their clinic. Clinics provide information on services they provide, insurance types they accept, and their other locations in town. The ER clinic contracts these 2-hour CPR classes for participants, for their community. Students normally receive a tour of the facility, light snacks, and hands-on experience, followed by a certificate and a card issued by the American Heart Association sent to their email. No student success initiative is without its challenges. A few are listed here to include lack of enrollment by non-health pathway students, students no longer attending the program are enrolling, friends and family of students are past the flyer and try to enroll, and finally having a physical person to request sign up or a person to tend to a sign-in sheet for various locations was a challenge. Solutions to these challenges were encourage all students to attend by showing that it is a resume builder. So it was added at the bottom of this flyer, show them how to word it on their resume so they can see that let's consider it a different way, a different perspective. We also added a bit.ly and a QR code to the flyer that the student can either type in or scan into their cell phone to self-register. Navigators are then, across our 8 providers, are invited to see this Google form on the back end so they can see that enrollment data and they can vet the students from their programs and notify the non-AEL students of the inability to add them to the CPR class due to their non-enrollment status. However, at that time, it also provides us an opportunity to reach out to those students that aren't current students and invite them to visit the program.
So I have a question. Have you considered, in terms of this CPR, you had mentioned about the other flyer, about this flyer and making it more non-English speaker friendly? Do you have such a thing, or does this work for either?
It actually works for either. Most of our students turn out to be ESL. In addition to this flyer, we do indicate on the right in the center they must be an AEL, adult education student to attend. And ESL students, we were having students at lower levels register, and then you can definitely see that language barrier when they were attending the class. So now we added in there must be an NRS level 4 through 6. So going to more the intermediate advanced levels so that way they can understand the content that's being given by the instructor. So this so far has worked for both realms, but I mean there's always room for continuous improvement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I believe this is the last certificate we'll go over. Skills to Succeed Academy was found by one of our more experienced navigators through her own research and brought it to our consortium, which later adopted it as a navigator teacher resource. It is a service offered through the Fortune 500 company Accenture as a corporate citizenship initiative. It offers web-based interactive modules that equip students with the skills necessary to secure a job. Some positive feedback has been its effectiveness with ESL students, in that the videos in the modules provide soft skills that some ESL students may need additional support on due to any cultural barriers or upbringing. It targets 15 to 24-year-olds, but the content is relevant to all ages. It offers 42 hours of highly interactive online training and support materials that take learners through the entire journey of finding a job. It has unlimited usage. Students receive a certificate of completion upon completing the modules. Some challenges we have experienced are lack of internet access at some of our sites, lack of class time to complete an entire module on lengthy sections as a class or independently. We try to alleviate these challenges by encouraging the students to complete the rest of the module at home. but the program is not approved for any type of distance learning hours.
We did have a question about the previous from Kim Vinton. She said, has it been more ESL or HSC students in the CPR classes so far? So this is related to your CPR portion.
It's been a mix of students, but I can definitely say it's been more ESL participation than HSC students. This class is normally held in the evening, Monday through Thursday, and the hours that it's normally given is between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I'm not too sure on how that affects some schedules, if they have children in school or support at home, but normally that's when the class is offered. But to answer your question, Kim, it is more ESL.
So Kelly does have a question. Kelly says, what is the cost for the Skills Academy?
From how I understand, and Kim, you can add a comment, but there is no cost. Okay, if there isn't anything else, or please feel free to answer your question. Oh, there you go. Kim Vinton has a comment. Correct, it's 100% free of charge. The contact person is Krista A. Tracy at Accenture.com. Thank you, Kim. So if anyone is interested in that type of certificate for your students, or that type of training that really focuses on those soft skills in applying for a job and being at the job, it's very beneficial. It's an extraordinary piece of module or software that they have rolling out, and so there are opportunities to work for that student to work on it at home, or you can do that as a section in the classroom.
But again, on this Accenture, they won't get credit for what they do at home, will they?
They will not. Because
it's not, again, an approved curriculum. Okay.
Right. From what I understand, some teachers will start it in the classroom, and they'll allow that time, and of course that's classroom time, but for the students to complete it, to get that that certification at the end, they'll complete it at home. Okay. Moving on through the Student Success Initiatives. I'm sorry, there was one last comment from Kim. They can add their new skills and their participation in S2S on their resumes. Yes, thank you, Kim. At the end, we'll see a final resume with the SSIs added, just so you can kind of see that overall SSIs incorporated into a resume. So moving through the student associations as our next topic, we have our National Adult Education Honor Society. The creation of an AEL Alamo Consortium chapter of the National Adult Education Honor Society was to recognize students' commitment to themselves, their peers, and recognize student excellence. Less than 2% of students served in our consortium, over 13 counties served, are inducted into the Honor Society every year since 2017. Students who have good attendance, at least 12 hours of instruction, and have exemplified the 5 pillars of the National Adult Education Honor Society Alamo Consortium chapter can be nominated for the Honor Society at no cost to the student. The 5 pillars are determination, positive attitude, strong work ethic, character, and leadership. In 2017-18 program year, 82 students were inducted into the ceremony, and over 250 friends and family attended the award event. In 2018-19, 96 students were inducted into the ceremony, and over 280 friends and family attended. We seek a previous student alumni guest speaker to provide words of inspiration to our audience, and our consortium provides light snacks before the ceremony and a picture booth after the ceremony has concluded for the inductees' friends and family. Our costs are shown here. The cost includes a certificate of membership from the Honor Society, student lapel pins, and 2 letters of recommendation for school and work.
So Liz, go back to the picture with the slide with the pictures on it. I like this. This is your event, or is this several events that you've had?
No, this is all National Adult Education Honor Society. This is from the 17-18 and 18-19 program years.
Thank you for sharing these photos. This is a great opportunity for recognition to our students. And Mauro said that they started a National Adult Education Honor Society chapter last year, and they did the induction during graduation program. Do you have an induction ceremony and a script that you use for induction that you may share?
Yes, so I can email that to you, Mauro. This is our induction ceremony. It is separate from any type of, we do it separately from any graduations. We do have 8 service providers that all hold their own graduation ceremonies, but as a whole, from our consortium, all 8 service providers, when they nominate their students, they all participate in one National Adult Education Honor Society induction ceremony. And so we do have a script that we use that we've recycled each year, and we always look to improve, so it gets changed up a little bit, but we do have that to share with you.
Could you share that in the community of practice, in the Career Pathway Community of Practice list?
Yes, I'm going to take a note on that.
Great. Thank you for asking, Mauro.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on just to keep within our time. For TALI, it's everyone pretty much knows about TALI. It's just added in here because it is part of our SSI umbrella. We encourage enrollment so students are eligible for student recognition awards, and also to add it to bulk up to their student resumes. Those 2 were the last of the student associations, and we'll finish off the presentation talking about Student Success Initiative externships. Just to go back to the chat box, Maura says, that's great, thanks. We did the induction at graduation due to time constraints, but we want to do a separate induction this year. Awesome. Kimberly Vinton says, we pay for TALI at the consortium level. Yes, we do. At the consortium level, we pay for TALI. The service providers are only tasked with turning in the names. And the process normally goes where the teachers nominate the students, the leadership goes through those nominations and does a final submission to our consortium, and we submit those names. And it is coming out where it's only the top 2% of our entire consortium. Kimberly says, all consortium providers agreed to this investment for TALI staff and students. And just this year, we started adding in a Teacher of the Year award because we have an audience there, and it is of those students that are showing that commitment. We thought it'd be a good opportunity to highlight a Teacher of the Year award from our 8 service providers. Student externships were created to be held outside of class. It allows the participants to explore environments related to their academy model or career interests. In 2018-19, students attended volunteer opportunities, community college events, and employer-hosted tours. A few are mentioned on this slide. Some externships are piggybacked off of already existing community events like college preview days or public library-hosted events. Others are created by establishing a connection with an employer to tour their facility. The tour option is not already in place. The students do sign in and out for these events, and they are given contact hours as transitions in teams with a capital T. Similar to the CPR class, we wanted to reduce the challenge of students needing to locate a staff member to enroll or tracking a sign-up form in various locations that our consortium has. A flyer was created using PictoChart, a program that assists in flyer creations, Google Forms and spreadsheets, a QR code, and a Bitly account. Some of the continuing challenges are that students are signing up despite the requirements. So it does say there is an AEL student requirement, and some of these flyers, when they get put up or sent out via mass email from our navigators, they can get into non-AEL student hands. So once again, we try to keep these events solely for our AEL students. So in that case, the navigators have had teams training to verify if they are active or non-active students. And this way, they can also catch those names of emails of non-AEL students and, again, invite them to their program as additional outreach efforts. And I believe it's all for this side. Kimberly Vinton says, such good stuff, everybody wants to participate. That is true. So moving through lessons learned, student externships flyer improvement. A new goal is to match future applicable externships to align with a college career program or certifying agency. For example, this specific tour happened just recently, last week as a matter of fact, and we toured the San Antonio Water System Water Utility Recycling Center, the Steve Klaus Water Recycling Center. Students were able to tour the entire facility, and the contact person there went above and beyond and reached out to their HR department and had HR come in and talk to our students specifically. It was interesting because 2 of those students that participated in the externships have been offered a connection to assist them with job assistance to hire them. And it's not the guarantee hire, but they said, I would love to help you because of your background. And some of our students were ESL students and are degreed in their own country. But if they have that ability to work, the HR vetted those couple students and has found a connection with them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that relationship. A future endeavor will be to take our students to a cloud computing employer and then tour a certifying school recommended by that employer. This will allow the student to get a full picture of what this particular pathway entails and allows for better decision making. So just to reiterate, in the past, externships were targeted as a lone effort. So we would visit, say, example, Toyota, and they would tell us about the different jobs, but there was no link into what certification can I get that's going to link me to get to that job. It was more so touring the facility, or we would tour college. And so touring that college, we would learn about different health pathways you can take. But then it wasn't always followed with a direct tour of, let's say, a hospital. Because it was student externships, they normally come out about once a month. We want to make sure that those efforts are provided for our students. We want to make sure that bridge is there. They are not required to attend both, but it's highly encouraged so you get both sides of the career pathway. Here is a moment that I am going to ask for audience input. How can you go about determining what type of student externship will be a best fit for your students? Okay, Kelly Meeks says that the HR experience was priceless for those students. Good community relations. I completely agree, Kelly. And more so on top of, for those 2 students, at one of our locations that ESL classes are currently happening is where they also have a lab in back that they work with the community college to host as the location to give that training. So the students are already in the same building as a water wastewater technician training lab, which then they could be hired by the utility. So I put a bug in the HR ear. It'd be a great effort for us and for you to invest in your future employees to possibly bridge these students and have them have a support class and also take this lab, the water wastewater tech training class, and then have a future goal of the employment at the end. So we have a few emails already going back and forth since last week that are excited about that idea. So I really hope something's going to come out of that. Wow, perfect idea. Thank you, Kelly. All right. Maura says, surveys for students after a site visit to see how they might see the visit information is benefiting for career planning. I completely agree, Mauro. We did this time around, we tried something new. We have surveys via their phone, and it is almost like a text app, but rather than a text to all or to that specific tour, that class, it is a video recording. So I had asked them to encourage that. And I apologize, I don't have the name of that app on me right now. It allows for the students to, I'm sorry, I have it right here, Flipgrid. It's called Flipgrid. This Flipgrid allows for the student, I asked 4 questions. How do you feel before the presentation? What jobs did you learn about? And what did you learn from this presentation? And I believe there was one more. And so in that, every time the student submitted a little video of what their thoughts were, because sometimes, people can be shy about recording themselves, they were entered in a little raffle for a small prize. And so we just had a lanyard, maybe a pen and pad. And so we would get different types of input from the students. And I still have to go through all of the submissions to kind of pull out what their post thoughts were after the event. They had about a good 35-minute drive from the location back to the office where we picked up, and so they had that opportunity in their seats to put in their comments. So I look forward to that. So this is a final student output example. This is on the left, you'll see a resume without student success initiatives versus the right resume with student success initiatives. I feel like this is a good encouragement builder for our students, even at first when they're coming in the door, showing them that this is how our students walk in, this is how our students walk out. And here you can see the student success initiatives that I had spoken about during this presentation. The resume on the right it has an example of one of our adult education providers, Northside ISD. It has that they obtained their high school equivalency. Under membership, it's got the TALE, it's got the National Adult Education Honor Society. Under certificates, if they partake in a IET, we added that in there. Administrative Assistant Level 1 certificate, Accenture, Northstar Digital Literacy, when it was awarded, and for what certificates of completion, as well as the volunteer experience at the bottom. The only thing that I think I would, as continuous improvement, would be to add is participation in those externship events as well. And I believe, with our time allowed, just to stay within it, Olga, that is all I have for this presentation. And I thank you for your time.
So Mauro says that the SSI resume is an eye catcher versus the initial resume. So yes, look at how much they're able to add to their resume just by doing the different things that are offered, the different SSIs that are offered through the consortium. So thank you, Liz, for sharing. And I put Liz's email in the chat box in case you have requests from her that she may respond to. But thank you so much. This is great information. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free. We have about 5 minutes to ask questions. And I wanted to, Liz, if you could advance that a couple more. I wanted to just share one more thing. So we've been asked to announce that at the 2020 Annual TALE Conference this year, we will be having a Career Pathway Navigator session. It's a pre-conference which will be held on Wednesday, February 12th from 9 to 4. And more information is to come, but save the date and make plans to attend. And this year the conference is going to be held in Irving, Texas. It's actually right off of DFW. Like if you fly off the plane, you could walk to the hotel. I don't know, it's kind of close, they're saying. So again, mark your calendars to attend the Career Pathway Navigator pre-conference session. And we haven't had a Career Pathway Navigator pre-conference session for maybe a year and a half. So make plans to attend. Thank you all. If you have any other questions for Elizabeth, please ask them in the chat box. Otherwise, we thank you for attending.